Ooh. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. What a world, eh? Well, I'm still young enough and foolish enough to want to try to make this world in which I live a better place for my passing. Silly me. I absolutely, definitively cannot be a politician. I'm far too honest. I do look people in the eye and say what I think. Here I am now in Harpenden, in my own place, which is wonderful actually. I haven't had my own home about me for years now. Probably 2 decades really. I had a property in Holland, and before that 2 in France, my own places, and I've been here, there and everywhere since then. I think it does matter. My take on this world in which I live. I listen to others, I see. It's quite curious actually. I like old black and white movies. So you sort of watch a film you remember from ages ago, and curiously the actors now seem young, because of course I've got older. Richard Burton particularly, I remember being interviewed by Parkinson. I used to do those interviews. And what was his life after all? You know, he was world famous, he had a beautiful voice, speaking voice. As far as I'm aware, he didn't believe in God, so he's rather missed the point. And the one that really gets me is Einstein, because apparently for all his brilliance and genius, he didn't believe in God either. This is why we are here. I've said it on numerous occasions. I am boring, I do repeat myself, well, good. We are here to love God through Christ. That is our primary first aim, duty, work, above all else. This is why God has put us in this earth, to love him. So on that matter, I am absolutely crystal clear. There is no doubt for me. Christ is alive within me. I can't explain that. His Spirit, which I have come to know over the years, primarily from reading the Gospels, but just living life, meeting people. So, how to make this world a better place is just not straightforward. I never said I was a perfect Christian. I'm absolutely clear about that as well. I've had some pretty humongous foul-ups in my own life, thank you. Not the least of which a broken marriage with a child who subsequently committed suicide. At the age of 18, Robert Francis, who would be 28 now in November this year. But he is no longer. How else does the world continue? You know, we need to have normal human behavior going on. That's what men and women are and do, and this is how children come into the world. I mean, that's the way it is. Why the church has to make such a ballyhoo about it, I've no idea. Sex. Without sex, we wouldn't be here. I mean, come on. Give us a break. You know, the church wants to stick its oar in and I can't see myself sorting out the Roman Catholics. That's the biggest organised Christian organisation of man, purportedly Christian, but as far as I'm concerned, they're way off track. Martin Luther posted his 95 Theses on the castle wall at Wittenberg, which he apparently didn't do, but railing against indulgences. Well, it's not so clear now, the Roman Catholic Church. But generally, the young in the West, France, Ireland, which were sort of strong Catholic countries, the youngsters don't attend church anymore. For why? Because they find hypocrisy there. Basically, they're voting with their feet, which is a sort of negative thing, really. But where does one go? This is my chapel. I sat here on my first Sunday in this new place of mine, alone. Actually, no, my neighbour popped in, who's a Londoner from Tottenham, proper Londoner. And so actually, no, it's not quite true then. He's a Christian though, you see. He had 2 Bibles, but he believes in violence. He's ex-army chap. You know, push comes to shove, then kill or be killed. So he doesn't get that right. Well, I can't make him get it. The whole point of Auburn, the whole reason I was in St. Albans at all, is because Auburn did see the light of Christ and renounced killing, and knowing his fate would be execution, martyrdom. I mean, that has to be absolutely at the heart and root of Christianity. No violence. If they strike you on one cheek, give unto them the other cheek. Every single hair on the head of your fellow man, woman and child is precious and special. And if you don't get that, well, then don't pretend you're a Christian. I've come across this before. You either get it or you don't. You cannot be a Christian and be actively involved in killing, basically, which writes off the whole of England. It's sort of way of being, kill or be killed, quite frankly, when push comes to shove. You know, at the end of the normal Church of England service. It's go forth and in peace and love. And oh, by the way, we've got some killing to do, so better do that as well. Ha! The Queen is the supreme governor of the Church of England, but she's the head of the army. This is utterly absurd. And yet there it is. The established, organised religion of this country in which I am, England, is the Church of England. And it's utterly false. Built on falsehood, right from Henry VIII, 1539 is the sort of date. Dissolution of the monasteries and so on. It's just utterly, utterly false. This idea that some person is the head of the church, it's absurd. The Quakers get it right. George Fox was the founder and had a wonderful wife. But anyone was free to speak if moved by the Holy Spirit. There was no set, laid down pattern of worship. No formulaic sort of Christianity. Well, I wish I could tackle that. They're not going to like me, are they? Those bunnies, the Church of England, and for that matter, the Roman Catholics. I think they're all a pack of hypocrites, all of them. To the extent that I say you cannot be a practicing Roman Catholic and a Christian. That's how far I go. You sign up to their ways, you're joining an organization of mankind, and you're not a Christian. Yes, I accept that I was in Peru last year, for instance, and at the market there's a shrine. They light candles, pray before they shop, sort of thing. It's very Roman Catholic, the country, Peru. And poor, simple peasant people all around the world have this faith through the Roman Catholics. So who am I to sort of dismiss them? And I recognize this. It's not straightforward. And I'm very circumspect how I speak about it too, depending to whom I'm speaking. I won't just come out with what I've said now. That you cannot be a practicing Roman Catholic and a Christian. That is what I know. But that clearly would be offensive to someone who is simple practicing, believing Roman Catholic. And likewise for the Church of England. My mother's sister, Patty, was pretty much Church of England. There's a big, well, not so big actually, cathedral in Cape Town, which is where she was. You know, and she'd go to church and so on. Well, as do many people, obviously. And yet I'm saying they're participating in an organization which is false. But then Christ had the same problem, curiously enough, with the Sadducees and the Pharisees, the religious leaders of his day. The passage I've had in my spirit for some last weeks has been the spiritual blindness thing, and the blind man. And Christ says to them, you're hypocrites, and because you think you know, they knew the Torah, the first 5 books of the law, and they didn't practice it. They knew what God wanted of them, and yet they didn't practice it. Therefore they're hypocrites, therefore they're false. Therefore they couldn't see Christ, therefore they crucified him. Therefore the Roman Catholics only forgave the Jews for crucifying Christ at the Second Vatican Council in 1962 or 3. Therefore Hitler thought he was doing the right thing by killing the Jews. Ha! Brilliant. So it's a very, very deep matter, this. In human behaviour. I think I've rambled on enough. My answer is love. Love God. Love your neighbour as yourself. Amen.